Julie Girling, Conservative MEP for the South West. First of all, about the state of the stock. The sea bass stock does seem to be in a bad way.
Yes, indeed. And last year in June there was an ICES report. That's the international organisation that's acknowledged across all member states as being the oracle on this, and by the Commission. Their report quite clearly shows that we're reaching critical levels on sea bass.
So, before we get to how and what you do about it, let's just go back a little bit, because earlier, back end of last year, the UK government, as I understand it, encouraged the European Commission to close the fishery. Just explain why that was. You just spoke in a speech this morning supporting that decision.
Well, UK government, I think, were ahead of the curve in recognising that the science was showing us that if we didn't take action, we would be losing our sea bass stocks virtually altogether. So it's one of those situations where our minister went to Brussels, tried to get support from other member states for at least a temporary ban, particularly on trawling. He failed, not through lack of effort, but because people weren't prepared to sign up to it. So I'm delighted that actually he's now won through, and that the Commission have announced at least a temporary ban. So to that extent, George Eustace has done a terrific job, but obviously we can't stop there. It's temporary, and that's really what the Parliament is saying in their resolution, is that we need to look at this in a more integrated, have a sustainable plan over the next couple of years.
How important is sea bass for your fishermen in the southwest? I know there's lots of different types of fishermen. Of course, there's the big trawlermen, there's the inshore fishermen, and of course recreational fishermen too. For all of those types of fishermen in the southwest, how important is sea bass?
Sea bass is an important catch, particularly for inshore. Inshore, as you know, it's seasonal. Different fish are caught at different times, but sea bass is largely a line caught, so inshore fish. So it's not being trawled in large numbers in inshore waters. So it represents quite a large chunk of inshore fishermen at certain times of the year, the work that they do. Moreover, many fishermen I know in the southwest sea bass is a recreational fishing stock. You know, you only have to go to the small ports around Cornwall and Devon, and you will see lots of day trips doing recreational fishing, and many times those are staffed. Those are the boats of fishermen or their families. They're either using that to fill their time when they don't have quota to catch while stocks are recovering, or they have completely diversified, which is what we've been encouraging them to do. So I really want to be very careful about how we restrict sea bass in the recreational area.
Given what you're saying, for example, for inshore fishermen, by closing the fishery, there is a degree of urgency, isn't there, in finding a solution, because as long as it's closed, yes, that might help the fish stock recover, but it doesn't help the fishermen that need to catch it.
No, that's true. And you know, that it's one of life's conundrums with fishing. I would say we should never get to this position of critical mass. It's critical on MSY. We should have dealt with this earlier. That is the lesson to the Commission: is deal with these issues earlier, get more scientific evidence. The Parliament has been saying for a long time we should make these decisions based on science and based on evidence, and that evidence needs to come through earlier than it does. You don't start looking for it when you think you might have a problem. It should be part of an integrated management plan for the fishery, that these things are monitored on a very regular basis, and action which is not so drastic, therefore, can be taken earlier.
That's not the case with sea bass. So the solutions, what on earth do we do about it in order to get to a situation where the fish is on a sustainable level and fishermen in the southwest can start catching it again?
Well, we do what we're calling for in this resolution, which is we have a total allowable catch for bass, which is set at a level which will allow the stock to recover.
And does that mean then quotas? We're going to see sea bass as part of future quotas set from here from Brussels?
As you know, we've been working very hard to make sure that those decisions are not made in Brussels in isolation, but are made on a regional basis. And in this instance, the Commission have looked at the member states who are affected, which is UK, France, Belgium and the Netherlands, and they're making a regional decision. So whilst, yes, technically, geographically, that might be made in Brussels, it will be made with those member states having the say, rather than, Greece and the Czech Republic, who have little or no interest other than possibly eating those delicious fish that we catch. So this is definitely a step forward.